I'm Jenna Mahoney, and this is Andrew Mahoney, my husband.
Today we would like to share a personal story about our process to becoming parents.
We got married September 5th, 2009, so about 9 years ago now. Then we lived in Laverne for the first year of marriage, and then I decided to go back to nursing school, or to nursing school I should say. So we tried to plan to have the baby like right after I graduated nursing school. I'm like, 9 months from now, I should be able to have this baby. You know, typically that's what you think. And then it took about a year within trying to have a baby, we're like, well, something's not right, you know, something isn't working. And actually during that time, it was February, March, like a couple months later, Andrew found out he had a job in Texas. So we moved to Texas, and the doctor from Sioux Falls recommended to look up an RE doctor right away. And we got in as soon as we could. And he met with me and kind of reviewed my records from Sioux Falls and said, hey, maybe we should try this surgery and look at your reproductive organs and see maybe there's something going on inside that we can't see without going in, you know, surgically. I remember going back to his office after that procedure, kind of excited to see maybe he found out something good, or I'm not sure, maybe something bad. But we walked into the office together, and remember him saying, he said it so bluntly, he said, you had like a 10% chance of having children, even with intervention. But then he's like, wait, no, 5% chance. He kind of like reduced it back just because he's like, it's probably a lower chance. That was pretty hard news. I remember like walking out the building and like just crying so hard, like just by this tree with Andrew, and he just sat there with me and held my hand. Then I think that's when we thought, you know, this is probably it. You know, what's the point of doing IVF if it's only like a 5% chance of it working when it costs like $20-some thousand for one intervention? So then we kind of prayed about it, and we were still in Texas at this time. And my mom told me about Carrie Biedner. She told me that her friend in Bible study met with Carrie and did this thing called the Creighton model. And she said that, you know, she was successful with this Creighton model, and it's more natural, and it's Catholic based. And so she's like, well, maybe you can call her and see what we could do to try to help you have your own children, because there could still be a possibility. So I gave Carrie a call, and she's like, yeah, there's my friend in Houston who does the Creighton model, and I can connect you with her. And so Katie encouraged me to see Dr. Stephen Hilgers. Dr. Hilgers found, after the surgery he did in May 2015, he found out that, you know, I had moderate PCOS, he told me. And as he was reviewing the video with me, I was kind of interested in what he all found, so I kept asking more questions, and he said, your ovaries were adhesed to your abdomen, so I had to take the laser and, you know, kind of gently remove it so it's more mobile, so it can be, you know, more free and actually be healthy. My brother received a phone call when we were on vacation at Ponca State Park, and he was listening to it in the living room, I remember, and then he's like, Jenna, you have to come out here and listen to this phone call. He put on speakerphone, and this lady was talking, and she's a psychiatrist from Yankton, South Dakota, and she's like, Jeremy, we have this baby that needs to be adopted. And she could be born any day. Do you know anybody who wants to adopt? And my heart was just like, whoa. And, I would encourage anybody who is thinking of adoption to definitely, you know, pray about it and think about it, because it's such a blessing. So, when Olivia was 6 to 7 months old, we decided to move back to Iowa. And so I contacted Carrie and just kind of started conversations with her, and she educated me so much on how to chart and just about my body and just what to look for, and just some ideas of what could be going on. So she just was a vital part of, you know, just learning about just myself and myself as a woman, and just things I never knew before. From there, Carrie referred me to the fertility care medical consultant, which was Dr. Hansen. He's all excited about trying all these labs. I remember testing on my hormone labs, and Dr. Hansen called me, and he said, I believe that you're in early menopause, going into early menopause, and I don't think that you can have your own children naturally. So it's kind of like, I think that was like the third or fourth doctor that told me that. So I was like, wow, well, maybe I need to stop trying. Like, inside of me, I'm just like, I need to keep trying as much as I can and just see maybe there's a chance out there. Like, I just didn't want to give up hope. But I think after that news, I was like, I think I'm done. I think this is just exhausting, But I remember talking to Carrie, and she's like, let me call you and we'll talk. And she was really encouraging. She's like, I don't want to give up on you, and let's just see what other options we have. And so I talked with Carrie on the phone. I remember sitting right in this living room, actually, and she's like, I don't believe it. I don't believe that you're in early menopause because, number one, you're still having cycles, and usually when you're in menopause, your cycles are ceasing, so they don't exist anymore. So she's like, let me refer you to the Pope Paul Institute in Omaha. I trusted her, and I'm like, okay, let's see what's next, and see what these doctors in Omaha may have to say or may have to suggest for what we could do. And Andrew came with me to kind of support me. I just wanted him to be there with me and see I never met this lady, and just thought, let's see what she has to say. And so I remember at the end of the appointment, she suggested trying an experimental trial. We asked questions about this experimental trial, and Andrew's like, well, has it been successful? And she's like, no. So I called Carrie after that meeting with Dr. Keith, and I was like, we're done. So just probably a week or so later, I was just kind of thinking about our appointment with Dr. Keith, and just kind of thinking about the experimental trial. And I was just kind of still a little curious about maybe we could try it. It's just kind of those thoughts in your head, maybe it will work, So anyways, I talked to Teresa, she's a nurse practitioner for the Pope Paul Institute. So I called her on the phone and left a message, and she said, hey, could you call me back and just tell me a little bit more details about this experimental trial and what it all entails exactly. And so we talked about that, and she's like, well, you could just try taking this supplement called DHEA. And we've seen studies where that actually helps conceive somehow. And I was taking that, and that was in January, February. And then the next month, it was March 10th. And I was like, man, my cycle is getting really long. This is kind of normal. But I'll just it was a Friday, I remember. I'll just take a pregnancy test just in case. And we've never had one positive pregnancy test ever. And so I remember I took it and left it in the bathroom, and then walked away to get Olivia ready, I think, or myself ready. And I came back, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's probably negative. And of course, there's 2 positive lines. I was like, what? And I was like, Andrew! And he's like, what? He's like, thought something wrong happened. I'm like, we have a positive pregnancy test. He's like, no way. No way. I don't believe this. So I took 2 more, and all 3 were positive. And he's like, I still don't believe it. I'm like, so I contacted Carrie. I texted her a picture of the positive pregnancy test, and she's like, yeah, it looks positive to me. And then Teresa, the nurse practitioner, called me I think the day later, and she's like, how is this possible? How did this happen? So from there on, we made an appointment with Carrie to have a pregnancy evaluation, just to kind of go over the estimated due date, just be excited about everything, just to meet up and just to go over things to what to expect during pregnancy. So we went to that comforts and techniques class, which was really kind of neat because you can meet other couples and just learn more about pregnancy and just labor. So I really enjoyed that part. And then we also I went to a breastfeeding class in Sioux City at the St. Luke's Hospital with Amaris, because I knew she was teaching that again. But Samuel was born at 1:37 in the morning on November 15th, 2017. And it was just neat because Andrew got to see him be born and cut the cord, and it was just kind of a neat experience. I'll never forget that moment. I remember we were in the hospital for a couple more days and then went home, and I breastfed that whole weekend, but it was nonstop. almost every hour, if you like. And so I had an appointment that Monday, and we found out that he lost more than 10% of his body birth weight. So the doctor recommended supplementing since I wasn't producing quite enough milk. I reached out to the Latch group via Facebook and asked, what are some options with supplementing? And they said that the Guiding Star is just starting to have a milk sharing program. So I contacted Carrie, and she's like, yeah, we have some milk that you can come pick up. So come on by and come pick some milk up. And so there's this story with some of the breast milk that we received, quite a bit of it actually, from a mother named Rayleigh Franken. And she had a loss of her baby boy when she was 29 weeks along. And she just so graciously decided to donate her time and her milk of the milk that was made for her baby, and just a very selfless act. And I just was really thankful that women like her are able to take that time to give back to other babies in need. And I'm just thankful that we're still supplementing with donated milk from the Guiding Star. I think it's just a kind of a way for women to connect and to learn and grow together through so many different stages in their lives. And we've kind of been through it all, and just Carrie's been there through a lot of it. And we're just really grateful for the Guiding Star and for everything that they've taught us, and just all their mentoring and just the compassion and love that they show.